Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. So today, the Sunday morning, we'll be discussing the Yoga Vasistha. Today the Vasistha is giving the teaching to his disciple Sri Ramachandra that this world is the mind's own creation. So let us begin with the stotra. Dikaladi Anavachinna Ananta Chinmatra Murtae Svanubhuti Ekamanaya Nama Shantaya Chetase. I salute the Supreme Brahman who is beyond all qualities, tranquil, beyond the limitations of the directions, space, time, or objects, who alone is the embodiment of infinite consciousness and who is to be known only through the proofs of one's own experience. That this is the discovery of the rishis of the old, and they discovered this consciousness which is all pervading. But they unfortunately could not give any definition exactly why, and because it is beyond time, space and causation. And then how to help the other people? Then they are giving these, that the indications from which you can try to understand what it is. But it's a subjective nature. It is a subjective, obviously. It is not an object that we can use our organs, our eyes, our nose, or our touch or taste, and then can have some idea. No. So you have to imagine, and you have to proceed to the path that the rishis have traveled, and they have given it to us. That chartered path, if we follow, then only we also will have the direct experience. So it is lastly it says, only through the proof of one's own experience. There is no other proof. Only Svanubhuti, only the direct experience. And they are giving the hints about it. And this Brahman is beyond all qualities. What are the qualities? Sattva, Raja, Tama. These are only three qualities. There is the good and the mixture and the bad. These are the three qualities with which all the creation is going on. It is tranquil because there is no desire. When the desire is there, and naturally there will be some activity, it is tranquil. Beyond limitations of the directions. There are different directions, it may be in this place or that place. No, it is completely free from that. Space, time or objects, and it is beyond these. And who alone is the embodiment of infinite consciousness. That is the only consciousness, that is the Brahman. Now there was no problem about it. Every saint and sage, they have accepted this. The problem begins with in explaining the creation, and we can understand, and at least for our debate's sake we can say there is only one consciousness. It is okay. But what about this creation? There's so many varieties of beings are here, and sometimes we see that the sentient and the insentient beings are there. The inerts are there. And Chaitanya, the conscious beings, are there. Then how it is possible? Where from it has come? And we can touch it, we can feel it, we can smell it, we can taste it, and we can experience it in our daily life. What about this creation? And that is when sometimes we accept it as a true, as a real, and we try to grab it, to hold it, and develop all our things over this, and we suffer. Then we come back and once again we start thinking, what is the matter? Then we say everything is changing. Why it is changing? How it is changing? So these all things by discussions, by meditations, analyzing, pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmana, so that thoughtful people, intellectual people, after examining all this, they came in conclusion that this creation is not real. So this is exactly what, now about the creation, this is the problem is coming. Sri Ramachandra, he saw this completely temporary thing, and he wants to renounce it. And the father, Dasharatha, he told, no, you have to be king. So he requested his teacher, the Vasistha, to talk to his son, the Ramachandra. Vasistha is now having the discussion with the Ramachandra and said, you are going to leave this world. But what is this world? It is your own creation. Last Sunday, we have discussed about the reality. That is the Brahman. I discussed a few minutes before, which is known, the Brahman, as Brahman, and it is eternal, unchanging, all-pervading. What is this changing world? It is the creation of the power of Brahman known as Maya. So when this question comes, what is this world? Then answer is, this is nothing but the Maya. This word, the Maya, is a very unique word, the 4-letter word, but it explains many things. Maya is having 3 qualities and 2 power, and this is the power of God associated with God. And obviously no one knows when the Maya was born or it was created. The beginning of the Maya nobody knows. Why? Because it is with the God, and God is eternal. We do not know when God was created and who created God. So we say Swayambhu. It is the self-created. When it was created, nobody knows. So that is the reason Maya also, which is all the part and parcel of the God, the power of God, we do not know when it was created. But we know when it ends. That is the unique thing. We cannot end the God, we can end the Maya, the power of God. And how to end the power of God, that discussion will come. Now the question is, if Maya has created this world, then why it appears different to different people? It's a very valid question. Suppose that something has created this, so why a person is seeing or feeling or understanding a thing in a completely different way than others? It should be one. Because the same creation Maya has created, so obviously this doubt comes. The Maya separates the jiva, the individual self, from the Supreme Self, Paramatma, through ego. In reply to this question, we can say the Maya is separating every individual through ego. How we are separated? Because of the ego. Now the 24th December is approaching all over this place in America and Europe and many other places. They are getting ready to celebrate the birth of Jesus. And this, what he said, this is the almost the same way also he explained. So this Maya, and in the Jesus, if you read that, many of you have already read, you know that the God created the one man and the woman, and they were so happy. Then something happened and they wanted to hide themselves from the God. Then the God immediately understood something wrong. Why they are hiding? Because they developed ego. But the Christian tradition, they explain it in this way. They say that devil came and the devil gave them something to eat, and after eating that, they started feeling about the body, and they were thinking, how can we go before the God without any covering? So they started covering their body with the fig tree, the leaves and something like that. So this is the way they say, but it's the same thing. The God created us. Then we are the same creation. Creator and the creation are nothing but the same. But we are separate. We cannot think that we are the same. Why? Here the Hindus, they say because of the Maya. How Maya separated us? Through ego. And what is this ego? All of us are having the ego, but we do not know, if you ask, how to explain. No one knows. The moment you say ego and immediately feel I, but who is this I? No one can properly explain. And most of the people ignorantly, they will say, philosophically ignorant, they will say, I am the son of so and so, I belong to this family and this particular, the caste and this religion, this culture, this linguistic group. By that way only they like to explain. But that is not true. That is not the real. So that we have to understand, ego, because of the ego and the clashes of the ego, that has drenched this world with blood. So many big wars, millions of people died, and millions and trillions of the property destroyed because of the clashes of the ego, and that we do not know what is it. Is it not Maya? That is called Maya. It is not there, but still we are thinking it is there. That is Maya. It cannot be explained, but it can be felt, and we feel it very much. Those who can think, that's why they say when the people cannot think in this way, the Sanskrit they say bala, they are children. They may be grown up, they may be well established in the society, may be educated in the other way, but according to the scripture they are bala. Why? They are not understanding the truth. When they are walking with the ego, the egoistic person, when they walk, you can feel, oh, they always try to show that I am somebody. But in reality, who is he? Nothing. So that is the ego separates us from the God. Now, because of these, our personalities are different. Because these personalities are different, our ideas, the way we think, so that is also different. How it happens? It says like this. We can try to explain. A thief goes to the temple and sees the jewelries on the deity inside the sanctum sanctorum. A thief is going and looking at the same deity and looking at that, the jewelries. What he will think? He will think how to grab it. He is not feeling joy because it is in the temple, but he is thinking, oh my God, so costly thing on a stone image, how can I get it? How to grab it? And a holy person goes to the same temple, he sees the same thing, and he is so happy seeing those jewelries that enhanced the beauty of his God. The two persons going over there, how you will explain this? Because of the samskara. We call it samskara. What is the samskara? Past impressions. How the past impressions comes? Because of the desires. Because how the desires come? Because of the karma phala. So it goes on round and round in circle. So we are having them desires. According to those desires, to fulfill those desires, we are working. And more desires are arising. And we are going to solve those also, satisfy those desires also. But the same problem is coming. And this way it goes on binding us and binding us. This is called samsara bandhana in Sanskrit. Samsara bandhana means we are tied down, bound by the samsara, the things that is not there, things that is constantly changing, and we are going to grab it, like we are trying to catch the water, the same water from the river which is flowing. The moment we take out little water from the river, the same water, no, we cannot catch, because it has already flown and other water has come. The next time I am trying to take the water, it's a different water. The life is like that. How it is possible in the human life? Maya, this is the creation. A holy person also the same thing, this is the samskara. So we can understand the answer to that question is why, if it is the creation of the Maya, the all people should behave like the same way? No, they cannot. Why? Samskara. What is the samskara? Past impressions. And that is also comes under the purview of the Maya. The Maya is also doing the same thing. So this we should keep in mind. Now the Guru Vasistha is telling to Sri Ramachandra, the human mind creates his own world. Human mind creates his own world. Now the thief is creating, and the holy person is also creating their different separate world according to their samskara. Now this is called Drishti Srishti Bhada, theory of creating through seeing, or doctrine of the creation through perception. The Drishti Srishti Bhada. This Drishti Srishti, that we see and then we create. Now there are three types of people are there: Swatika, Rajasika and Tamasika. Now Sattika people, the good people, is not completely pure. Pure Sattika likes Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Very, very rare. Almost impossible, almost nil. So that is not there. But the percentage of the good, that is there, and then the activity with the ego, that is Raja, it is also there, but it is percentage little less, and to harm the people and to disturb the people, that is very less. That is called Tama. The mixture of the Sattva, Raja and Tama. I like to help people. I like to enlighten people. I like to see people happy. This type of thoughts in the Sattva Guna. Same, I like to help people, but they should remember me. But they should acknowledge me, thank me. Rajaguna. Tama will say, never ever I am going to help them. Why should I? So that is called Tama. You will never find, very, very rare, the pure Tama, very rare. So it says the Asuras, Danavas, the devils, they are all Tamasika, pure Tamasika. They will never think, cannot think to help others. And very rare the same way, Swatika. They are only thinking good for the others purely. This is also very, very rare. So it is always say, you cannot see things in the deep darkness, that is Tama. And at the same time, you cannot see things in the tremendous light, glaring your sight, glaring your eyes. So that is also Sattva. So the mixture of Sattva, Raja and Tama, that we are, the human being. Now from here we have to start. And when we are feeling the compassion for others, love for others, the service attitude, unselfishness, that is, the Sattva is little more than the other two. So this is the difference. And from that point of view, I am going to create my own world. I see good in every being. I try to develop, help them to grow that. That Swami Vivekananda, he gave that ideology to the Ramakrishna mission. to make people aware about their divine nature and to help them to manifest it. How many people will feed and give the clothings? Better if you can help them to rise their self-confidence. That will help them. That you should do like this. It's not ego. Majority of the people, no, I am not going to take your help, I know. So that is the ego. But this is the difference. I am going to help you so that you get back your self-confidence. The children are going to the exam hall, and if you say, oh, no problem, you are going to be successful. So that encouragement, you are not going to write for him or her. They will do their own exam, they will give their own exam, but only encouraging. So that is called the sattva, this sattva guna, and this is called drishti srishti vada we are discussing. And this doctrine of creation through perception is propounded by the Prakashananda. This Prakashananda, he said, is explaining this world. Now Shankaracharya is explaining, Madhvacharya is explaining, Ramanuja is explaining. It's not the one who is the substratum. That is the Brahman. We have already discussed last Sunday. Today we are discussing the creation. And different people from the different point of view, they are saying. Prakashananda is telling, this is drishti srishti bhada. You are creating your own world according to your samskara. If you have good nature, you see good in everything. If you have bad nature, you see bad in everything, in everyone. So that way you are creating your own world. This is one. But the guru of the Raghukula, that he is not telling this. He is telling, this is, you are creating Rama because of your own, the thought, your idea. So don't be so serious about it. You can change it. And let us just mention this. This is called Mayavada, propounded by Adi Shankaracharya. They are all based on the Vedanta. The Vedanta believes that there is only one consciousness. And this consciousness, and this is one and the ultimate, there cannot be anything. No two. Now the challenge comes before how to explain the creation, so-called creation. So they say it is your drishti srishti bhada. Prakashananda, he is telling the drishti srishti bhada. Bhada means the theory. He gives the theory that it is our own creation. Shankara, we all know, Maya Bhada. It is actually not there, but through the Maya you see as if it is there. Then Eka Jiva Bhada, I only exist and nothing else. This I is not the body-mind complex. This I, the supreme consciousness. This I is the Brahman. When a person realizing that Brahman, understanding the Brahman, that revelation, that knowledge, when all the doubts gone, then he says, I only exist. Aham Brahmasmi. And for him, Eka Jiva Vada, that is the theory, I only exist. Another is Ajata Vada. Yesterday, when we were concluding the Ashtavakra, so there Ajata Vada. Ashtavakra, he also says like this, before Gaudapada, he said this, Aja means unborn. How that can take the birth? Aja, which is unborn, cannot take the birth. Or Jata, it cannot take. Jata means the born. Or negative, it cannot take the birth. Naturally, it is no question. Don't talk about it. Unnecessarily, you people are wasting time discussing about the creation. Only enjoy that. You are that Brahman, you are the conscious. So friends, this is Hinduism. And this is the acme, this is the ultimate point of Hinduism. So when we talk about Hinduism, we start with those who are worshipping a stone. And the people will smile, or look at these fools, they are worshipping the stone, or worshipping a tree, or worshipping an animal, or worshipping an image. So this slowly the same Hindu who is starting like that and ultimately coming and saying Aham Brahmasmi. The whole gamut is Hinduism. We have to understand that. If you take a small part, that you won't understand the Hinduism. Hinduism embraces each and everything. Why? Because as Swami Vivekananda said, we travel from lower truth to higher truth. It's not from wrong to right, false to truth, no. Lower truth. When a person thinking God in that stone image is correct, and or just a stone or a tree or anything, and the Hindus will say, yes, why not? God is all pervading. Consciousness is everywhere. If you concentrate on that, and the same tree will reveal which is truth. That is Hinduism. We talk about Hinduism, but we do not know what is Hinduism. Hinduism is so vast, unthinkable. So duality and the monism, both are there, the whole gamut. When he say that my God is this and I am God's servant, that is also Hindu. And when one say I am that God, that is also Hindu. So this now we are talking about. See, the majority of the people, they think that talking about or practicing about the morality is religion. Of course, but that is only a preparation. Morality that we practice is nothing but the preparation. You will never find in the Upanishads or in the scriptures like the Yoga Vasistha, Ashtabhakra and Panchadashi, they will never talk about don't tell lies, don't steal, don't beat anyone, all these things are over. You are supposed to complete, you have already completed all those things. Then only you have come over here. Now you are a university student. Now we cannot go on telling you, hey, you should write A like this or pronounce B like this. Nothing like that. It is all over. And don't take the pencil from your friend and don't do this, don't do that. Nothing, all this over. Now you are facing, sitting in that laboratory where you are going to liberate yourself. And what is that liberation? Knowledge. What is that knowledge? You are not this body and mind. And all this world around you, varieties of things that is there, it's nothing but the magician's creation. And that great magician is known as the Maya. And ultimately it goes to the God. The God has created this through the Maya, and wants to see. God has created me too. And God has given me the mind, analytical mind. And God has given me the Guru, the scripture. All these wonderful game is going on. So don't get attached or affected by these worldly things. So that is the teaching. I was just mentioning about some of the theories, that is Drishti Srishti Vada, Maya Vada, Eka Jiva Vada, Ajata Vada, all these different ways, all these Vedantins, they are trying to explain. But all are going back to ultimately to the Brahman, and all are in opinion that this world is nothing but the Maya, which is not true, but only apparent. This, the conclusion of the Advaita philosophy, Brahman is the only reality, has been propagated by different scholars in different ways. The philosophers differ not on Brahman but on creation. If Brahman is one, then what is this world? The Guru Vasistha, while explaining Sri Rama, he said, it is like the reflection of the trees on the lake water. Worldly objects are reflecting in the mirror of consciousness. Sagyana darpane skare samasta vastu jatayah. Now, here the Guru, Vasistha, he is explaining again the creation. If we take the creation as real, we can never become free from the bondage of birth and death. Forget about the freedom. Forget about the realization of the truth. Never ever. So monk or the householder, it doesn't matter. The matter is how you are treating or accepting or reacting in the company of these worldly objects. How many objects are there in this world? 5. Rupa, Rasa, Shabda, Sparsha and Gandha. So the world means we should not be confused. And world means only these 5 things and nothing else. And this is again the very specific, the Hinduism. It brings the mind to those. Only these 5 things. Who are enjoying? I am enjoying. How I am enjoying? Through my sense organs. Through the eyes I see a form and immediately I recognize this is my friend or this is my enemy, and accordingly my mind reacts, either joy or anger. So creation means I am creating. So the Guru Vasistha is telling like this, that you are creating. And how? He gives that example as if the trees which are on the bank of that lake reflecting on that water, and that as if the trees are there in the water too. It is not. The same way on our consciousness, what is the mind? Nothing but the consciousness. And this consciousness, over that, this world is reflecting. How the world is reflecting? As I am thinking. It is reflected a person, and I thought is my friend, it becomes a friend. And I thought this is my enemy, it becomes an enemy. As I am accepting, so these things. So you are creating your own world. He is telling like that, and he says that we have already studied this. Sagyana darpane, sagyana. So in the consciousness, in your own consciousness, darpane, mirror, as if that consciousness is a mirror. As an example is giving. Samasta vastu jatayah. It is reflected. And then the second line we have already studied, so I am not quoting, as if those things are already there. Reflecting. This statement that the Guru has given is supported by Panchadashi. We know that Panchadashi is another famous treatise of the Advaita Vedanta. It says this world is superimposed by Maya on our consciousness. And it points to the Maya again. And Maya is the main problem. It says it is this Maya. This Maya is creating all this problem. So this world is superimposed by Maya on our consciousness. Jagat chitram sa chaitanye pate chitram iva arpitam mayaya. Jagat chitram, the picture of this world, varieties. Swa chaitanye, swa means your own consciousness. Pate, pate means another, as if on the picture they're giving the example. This is a Sanskrit. They put different word in different places, but then when you are explaining, when you are taking out the meaning, this pate will go afterwards. Ghata, pata and all these words are so common in the ancient Sanskrit because they were not having many varieties. So ghata means the picture, pata means the picture. So they used to think in that way. So Jagat Chitram Sachaitanye Chitram Iba Arpitam Mayaya. This as if the Maya, the power of God, is giving and or drawing a picture on your own mind, on your own consciousness, like a painter is painting on a canvas. Just like that. A canvas is there, and that is consciousness. The canvas and the consciousness, and on the canvas a painter is painting in his own way. It may paint a sky or an ocean or some birds or the human being, anything, because the canvas is there and the painter is having the paint, so he is drawing whatever he likes. Same way the Maya is painting on our consciousness, whatever the Maya thinks. Now the problem, what to do? I don't want to see these. Then it says, Tad upiksheva chaitanyam parisheshatam. If you can ignore this, what will remain? Your consciousness only. And if you ignore the picture, what you will see? The canvas and nothing else. So beautifully Panchadashi is mentioning that is just like this. If you can ignore the world, and what is this world? Nama and Rupa, and nothing else. Again, only two. Nama and Rupa, this is the world. And the third thing, consciousness. Asti bhati priyam. What is this consciousness? Asti, it is existing eternally, it never change. Bhati, it is all the knowledge only, revelation only. And priyam is so beautiful, so enjoyable, blissful. Asti bhati priyam in one side, that is Brahman, and another side, Nama Rupa. That is the creation. So creator is Asti bhati priyam, and the creation Nama Rupa. Only these five. Now the problem is we have mixed up. We have to separate it. Nama Rupa, the moment we can separate the Nama and Rupa, what is the name and the form? Look at this world. Each and every object has a name and has a form. If it is not having any form, we cannot identify. So we really wonder how the rishis, those who are not having anything, any machinery, I don't know whether they were having the machineries or not, but we can think in this way because all the other things, they never mentioned about any machineries, but how they have analyzed each and everything. Now what is this world, what is this creation? They say Pancha Bhuta, Shiti, Apatej, Marud, Boma. And this Pancha Bhuta is creating the five objects, the Rupa, Rasha, Shabda, Sparsha and Gandha. And these five objects are enjoyed by the five sense organs, Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jiva and Tak. And then the person who is enjoying in trouble and he needs help. So the Guru comes, the God in the form of Guru, and he says, you separate yourself with those things. Why you are unnecessarily going over there? That's all. That's all. So what is religion? Understanding this much. We go to far away places, spending so much money and physically exhausted, and we think we have done a lot of the holy things places we have visited, and then we go do these and chanting the whole Gita. We are going on doing, and it is good. We should do. But you know what? Ultimately, you have to understand, I don't belong to this world. And what is this word? Nama and Rupa. The moment you have the idea that I should be praised by the people, I should have these, I should have that, it's very difficult. You are not yet ready for the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is a completely different thing. All the externally that we see, or the temples and the pujas, these are all encouraging you to start the journey. And when you are in that path, Paribrajaka, you are traveling from where? From lower truth to higher truth. I used to worship this, I used to think in this way. Now I have to go and go and go. And ultimately when you go and stand before the truth, what do you see? That it is nothing but you. So, Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukham tattam pushan apabrinu satya dharmaya drishtaye. In one of the Vanishes, it says like that, remove the cover. The cover, though so beautiful, so glittering, it is made of as if made of gold. But I don't want that. This world with name, fame, and so many things, it is so interesting. People are mad to become like that. We see one become president, and we see how he in problem, how he struggle, and how much suffering he is having. Is they also a human being? And everybody is criticizing. Every day morning when he gets up, he listens to the announcements from the TV, and everybody is criticizing. His own people are not understanding him. Can you imagine the suffering of that person? But still another person is thinking, if I can become the president or can grab that chair, that power. He is not looking at the suffering the person is having. And again he will go. Each and everyone, whatever the good person may be. Maybe he is very, very successful even in doing. Still then, there will be some critics, always, every time. What to say about these people? There are critics about God also. The God is doing so good, but still there are so many people are there to criticize him every day. So if you think in this way, this world is completely different. Friends, as the Panchadashi is supporting, and we find a beautiful passage that in the Dakshinamurti Stotra. Dakshinamurti is the Shiva, the Lord Shiva as the teacher. There is another thing, many of you know about the Dakshinamurti. I will chant the very first verse, the same idea. Same idea. All the scriptures of the Hindus, composed by different people, but very uniquely they give the same idea. Why? Realization is the same. That is why very recently Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, all jackals they howl in the same tune. Sharp, Shealer, Akra. All they are, when they are howling the same way. The same sound. He, in a very rustic way, he mentioned, but that is true. All the realized souls are giving the same idea. And here it says, Dakshinamurti, Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tullam nijantargatam Pashyan atmani mayaya bahiri bodhbhutam yatha nidraya yas sakshi kurute prabodha samahe swatmanameva advayam tashmai Sri Guru Murtaye nama idam Sri Dakshina Murtaye, Sri Dakshina Murtaye. Sri Dakshina Murti, that is the image of the the guru. And what is that guru? Is the knowledge. And what he says? As one sees the city reflected in a mirror. Sometimes you can see the reflection on a mirror. Here in Chicago, if you go and there is a Millennium Park and the huge thing is there, and if you stand you can see you and the whole city as a reflection on that. This is so beautiful. And when I went over there, I was thinking, oh my God, these rishis, they never saw like this. Only imagine. And these people, they have now done it. If you stand before that, you can see you and your companions and also all the buildings at your back, all reflected on that. It's such a nice way the building they have created. So that is called as a city reflected in a mirror, the same way one sees this world reflected in one's own mind. And this happens due to the Maya. So this is our Dakshinamurti Stotra also is supporting the same idea. Rishi Vasistha also approves this view of the scripture and said to Sri Rama. Now I am quoting the Rishi Vasistha. And he says, Swarga Chit Spandamatra. Swarga, this world, Chit Spandamatram. Atma Sammak Drishtu Bili Ate Udeti Asammak Drishtu Tu Rajjam Sarpa Brahmo Yatha. The second chapter, 11th verse, again the Rishi is giving that why again and again the same thing they used to say, to make that mind of the student, the one idea harping, and it should go and it should be completely be there and no doubts about that. To remove all the doubts, the teachers, they used to go on telling the same thing in different language and different way, giving some different examples to make the student very clear about it. What is this world again? Now the question is, what is this world? We are not asking the question about the Brahman. We know Brahman. This is eternal. We understand that. But in that case, when you say the Brahman is the only reality, there comes the problem. If it is the only reality, then where from this world comes? That this is second, that there cannot be the second. To explain that only, this doubt, they are going on telling. For the people in the duality, following the path of duality, they don't have any problem. God has created this world. The Semitic religion, they are not going to discuss about all this. God has created this world, and God has created in the Monday in this, Tuesday in that, Wednesday in that. So lastly, He created the human being, but that's all. Why you are doubting, why you are asking question? God is all powerful, He can do that. Let there be light, and there was light. It is possible. That's all. But this way they go. But the path of knowledge, they will be constantly asking the question and analyzing the thing, how it is possible. If God is, you say, the only one, where from the devil came? If this devil also is separate, where from the world came? If the world is also separate, there are so many are there. How can you say the God is the only one? And if you accept that all these are true, the devil is also true, the God is also true, the world is also true, that means so many different things are there. And if there are many, they are going to collide, that's for sure. And when they are colliding, something is going to be destroyed. Then the Swami Vivekananda, on this point, he asked this question, shall God die? Because not that all the time God will win over the devils. Maybe one day devil will capture the God. Can this be happen? Not, never. And how can you say that it will never happen? Vedanta comes with all these answers. And what are the answers? Oh man, you are unnecessarily thinking. It is nothing but your own creation. It's just like the reflection. It is not real. So here he also says the creation. Creation means sarga. This sarga, not swarga. Swarga means heaven. Sarga means creation. Is nothing but the vibration. Spanda matra. Sarga, spanda matra. Spanda means vibration. Of consciousness, Atma. It vanishes with true knowledge. Sammak drishto biliyate. Now this is all this creation that we see, it vanishes when you can understand it. Today, when you are discussing it, many of us may be thinking it's true. I am just thinking this is bad, this is... Then sometimes some people, they talk to me and they say, people are thinking about me like this and that. I tell, don't imagine. Be as you are. And be always happy. Have the self-confidence. Don't unnecessarily imagine and then suffer. Majority of us, we suffer and we think this is the problem because we imagine. Stay as it is. Live as you are. It is their problem. It is not my problem. So you can solve this. This is where it says the creation is nothing but the vibration of the consciousness. And it vanishes when that knowledge comes. Again, through wrong knowledge, asamyak drishto, it may rise again, udeti. Udeti, as one sees the snake on a rope by wrong conception. Lastly gives that example, drishto tu rajjam sarpa brahmo yata. Sarpa brahma, now one person came and he saw a snake, he then called for help, people came with the flashlights and they told him, hey, don't worry, this is nothing but a rope, and it was solved. Then all went back, it was a winter night, they wanted to get the sleep. Suddenly another person started shouting, oh, can you please come and help me? They go out, the same problem. The same rope and the same snake. That means how it comes? The one, that is why giving this example, it says, when you get the knowledge, it vanishes. But not that it won't be there. It will be there for another person. Again, with the wrong conception, wrong knowledge, that same second person also will see the snake on the same rope. The same way, one person is liberated doesn't mean whole Maya will vanish. No. The great people, they come, they practice spirituality, they are liberated. But we are all bound. Why? Because we are under the spell. So each and every one has to work out his own mukti. No one can help. No one can help. So that it says like this, creation is nothing like the vibration. And this, many of you know, that is in the Samkhya philosophy, Kapila Muni, he says how the creation came, that is the Purusha and the Prakriti. The Prakriti, the nature, it is there, it cannot create itself. If the Purusha comes close to the Prakriti, not mixing with Prakriti, coming close to the Prakriti, then the vibration begins. And in the vibration, Sattva, Raja, Tama, which is the main forces of the Prakriti, it start taking the mixing with each other and the creation comes. And the same way also the Vedantins say the Brahman was all alone. Suddenly a desire came, ekaham bahushyamo vihi. We are imagining, we do not know. But to explain this creation, the Vedanta is telling there was only equilibrium. But as if that Brahman, when he thought, I am alone like to be many, immediately all this projection came. From that Brahman, everything was projected. The same Brahman, the material cause and the intellectual cause, all this creation. And that is the reason, though right this moment I don't feel that I am God, but there is a chance, because I am created by God out of His own. So all the materials that He has used is divine, is godly. I am also God. So there is every opportunity for every individual to become God. Why not? That's why Swami Vivekananda said, you are all Amritasya Putra. In the long back, the rishis, they declared Amritasya Putra, the children of immortal bliss. And naturally, this immortal bliss means we are all, and we can go back. Now the some will say, pray to God, and He will hold your hand and take you to God, to Him. And some will say, they're all imaginations, this creation. So here, the Yoga Vasistha, he is taking Rama the path of knowledge, and he says, Rama, all this is nothing but imagination. Don't take it so seriously. If you understand this, there will be no problem. Stay in the samsara. Why should you leave? Stay in the samsara and then be free, because you know it is nothing. The Vedanta says it is not the actual transformation like the milk into transforming into yogurt or curd. No, it is not like that. And it is like the reflection. So these two types, if it is completely transformed, then how can it go back? We like to go back to God, and that is the only goal. And if I had already completely transformed as the milk into a yogurt, yogurt cannot go back to the milk form. So similarly, if we are all sinners separated from God, how can you go to God? So we cannot take that answer. So what is the answer? Reflection. It is not real, it is all reflection. So that is the way we have to. O Rama, this knowledge of creation will make you free from fear about the bondage. Live in this world, but be aware that one undifferentiated, pure consciousness vibrate and create this world. As the air, the breeze create the ripples on the surface of the tranquil lake water. So friends, we will conclude over here. And what is this vibration of Maya? That we will discuss in our next class. Is there any question?
Yes. So the first question, it's a two-part question from Krishna Gowda. He's asking, kindly answer between Valmiki Ramayana and Yoga Vasistha Ramayana. Is Yoga Vasistha Ramayana stories written based on Valmiki Ramayana?
They say that. Actually, we are studying the Sara. In the Sara, that is only they have taken only the conversation that took place between the Rishi, the Vasistha and Sri Ramachandra. And the Ramayana, it is mentioned, the Vasistha is their guru, family guru of the Raghu clan. Yeah, that is there.
And the second part question from Krishna Gowda is Rama name given control the mind, meaning Indriya
Nigraha.
Yes, Nigraha, and is Rama's name given the name and wealth?
They say, this is now, you come to in the faith, and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says, if you go on repeating the name of Sri Rama, then you will get everything. If you want mukti, liberation from this bondage, you will get that. If you want this wealth, name and fame, that also you will get that. So you have to have the faith in the name of Rama. It is not only the word. At the back of this word is connected with a personality. And what is that personality? Is the God himself. So if you do in that way, the Rama name, your question is whether the Rama name can give whatever I want. Yes, it will. But it depends on the faith and the practice. Thank you.
The next question from Srima Biswas. She is asking how we keep away us from Maya.
Oh, that is actually, that whatever we are discussing, this Maya is this conception. You cannot, it's so difficult to go beyond Maya. So we have to hold the owner of the Maya, the master of the Maya. To go beyond Maya, the only one who can help us is the owner of the Maya, and that is the God himself. It is like the very ferocious dogs, the guarding the house. And if you like to enter into that house, you will surely ring the bell or call the owner of that. Then the owner will come and say, hey, don't do that. Immediately the dogs will be quiet and you can enter. Similarly, if you go on calling God, please help me from this terrible Maya that is guarding your gate, I cannot enter, God will come and remove the Maya from your path and you can enter. So to go beyond Maya is the only way that to take the help of God.
The next question is from Tuhin. If everything I see is from my perspective, in brackets, as in the words of Rabindranath, Amar Mone Ache, then what happens to universal perception? Why do we see the same thing?
Why do you see the same thing when you are thinking? That is a different way. See that I see a tree and you also see a tree. It is possible. This is not here like that. Is the when you are thinking about this world, that this world can give me the permanent joy and permanency, I can survive here for years together without death, and like these and that, when you are thinking, that is a wrong conception. So that they say you are creating this world of your own. And sometimes the same person may be a friend to me. I can think that person is good person. And the same person to you may be a bad because something happened to you. By that way only. Thank you to him. If we can discuss in some other time, we can discuss. It is all your own karma phala, all your own past actions that is giving you this type of views.
Krishna Gowda is asking again, he's saying why God Rama, in brackets Brahma, is creating his penance for some people, rich, poor, intelligent, fool, beautiful, ugly, strength, weak, happy, sorrow. Is correct his partiality?
No, that is the after the Rama came Sri Krishna. The same God came in the form of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has given this answer, and Sri Krishna says, I don't give anything to anyone, either good or bad. Kasyachit papa nachaiva sukritam vibhuhu. So I don't give any punishment and I don't give any blessings also. God is not doing anything, It is all our past karma. God is completely neutral. God is having no one is favorite. Only those who are good, God is with them. And how He is helping them? Giving them the good and rightful thoughts. Buddhi yogam dadamaham. Again in the Bhagavad Gita. So I give them the proper thoughts, the proper way of thinking. That's why it is God. God cannot be partial. And we think in that way. My friend is successful, but I am not. Why? your karma phala. So we have to get back to our own, the bag full of result that we are carrying with us. So that is, if it is heavy, so naturally we cannot move faster. So that is the answer. Thank you, Guru. So, okay friends, let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.